You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, aspiring actors. With me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And every week, I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid, working, unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready? Hello and welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Actors podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. Firstly, if you are brand new to this podcast, welcome. I am so glad you found it, because my aim is to help you go from where you are now to becoming an unstoppable actor. And at times you might not feel like an unstoppable actor, and that is completely normal. I really hope to inject a bit of inspiration, boost your spirits, help you feel a little bit more motivated with these episodes so you can actually go on to start to feel like an unstoppable actor and then become an unstoppable actor. Now, if you are brand new to the podcast, let me introduce myself very quickly. I'm Louise. I am an acting coach that specialises in method acting, and I've been coaching actors for the best part of almost 13 years, and I've been helping them go from unknown actors, newbie actors with very little experience or no experience and blank CVs, and taking them all the way through to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, stage plays around the world, and getting signed by some of the most reputable agents in the business. So you're in good hands. And if you are returning to the Unstoppable Actors podcast, thank you so much. I absolutely love having you here. Today we're going to be talking all about those mind monkeys that wreak havoc not only on our minds but on our careers, the ones that tell us we're not good enough. Now, before I get started, I want to let you know I am not a therapist. That is not what I am. I am a method acting coach, but I do happen to love self-development. I have an obsession with psychology and mindset, and I am just so committed to learning about how the mind works and learning about trauma and learning about how we can overcome these things. And one of the reasons I'm so committed to this is not just because I'm fascinated by it, which I absolutely am, but also because we have something called the success triangle. And what sits right at the very top of the triangle for success is mindset. And if your mindset's not on point, it affects absolutely everything. So the 3 points of this triangle for success are mindset, skill set, and action set. They're the 3 ingredients that you need to become a successful, working, unstoppable actor. Now, before we dive into all of this, I just want to say, if you do find this episode inspiring, uplifting, motivating, educational, useful, it helps you in some way, please do share it with your networks. I say this in pretty much all episodes, but when I first got started with an acting career, I had nothing like this available to me, nothing at all. And it took me such a long time to do loads of digging and loads of research. And if I'd have had a resource like this, it would have sped up that time. But also, please do leave a review as well. It really does help us spread the word and help more actors like yourself. So please do share it with your networks, leave a review. And just to let you know, we're at 29 reviews so far. We've got a 4.8 star review rating. I think that's what we call it, rating. Yeah, that's so exciting. And we've also been downloaded at the time of recording this episode 14,500 times. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. And last week, I think I got on one day 6, and yeah, 6. I was totally mind blown by this. I'm going to say the word 6 again. I got 6 messages on our Instagram page, which is at Standby Method Acting Studio, just saying how much the podcast has been helping people. So I'm going to read one of those messages now. And this message comes from an actor called Timmy Lee. That's his name on Instagram anyway. I know it's not, it's Timmy Murphy. Sorry, Timmy, for getting your name wrong. He sent me a message last week saying, thank you for such a brilliant podcast. It's exactly what I needed at this time. I'm a returning actor after a long break. Within just a year in making paces and going in the right direction, I received rejection today for a role I wanted so badly, and listened to your episode on rejection. It's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is exactly why I love doing this podcast. I mean, firstly, I love talking. Secondly, I love talking about acting and mindset. But I just love getting messages like that because I never know really who I'm actually talking to on these podcasts. So when I see a message come in on Instagram and I see the face, I'm like, oh, this is who I'm doing the podcast for. How exciting. So yeah, let's dive into this then. Oh, and by the way, if you do enjoy this episode, please do reach out and send me a message on Instagram because I love receiving them. Our Instagram is at Stand By Method Acting Studio. So let's just dive in then. I keep saying this, but let's get into it. Let's get into the crux of this thought process of I'm not good enough. So I'm not good enough, first of all, is a very insidious thought. It is a nasty little gremlin that creeps up on us. It is lurking around in the background of our brains, and it jumps up whenever things seem slow with our acting career. You know, maybe you've not had an audition for a while. Maybe you've seen others getting loads of auditions. Maybe you're right at the starting blocks and you've not even got started with your acting career because you're looking at others going, well, I'm not confident like them, so I'm not good enough. Maybe you've got some life shit going off. You know, maybe things are crumbling around you in your personal life, or you've got some challenges in your personal life, and they are perpetuating this idea that you are not good enough. But here's the thing. This little gremlin in your head is a story you are telling yourself, and you've picked it up from somewhere. I don't know where you've picked it up from, but you've picked it up from somewhere in your life. And as you are an emerging unknown actor, or even right at the very starts of, you know, just figuring out like, how am I even going to get started? And you class yourself as an aspiring actor. The thing we all have in common, wherever we are on this journey, is that we want to tell stories for a living. We are storytellers, right? And this is a story in our heads that we are telling ourselves, I'm not good enough. Which means, woohoo, how exciting. We can also change the story in our heads. But you are emotionally attached to this story at the moment. Now, everybody has this story. Everybody has this story. It's normal. It's normal. It's normal. I'm going to keep saying that. There's nothing wrong with you for having this story in your head. But it becomes a problem when it is stopping us from taking action with our acting dreams and we are staying stuck or stagnant or blocked. So here's the thing. You can get curious about where this story has come from if you want to. You don't have to. There's no hard and fast rules about this. You can. Now, my I'm not good enough story comes from school. It comes from primary school. Not even anything to do with acting. And at primary school, I put this girl on a pedestal who I was friends with, who I was like, oh, she's really clever. She's really intelligent. She's the popular girl. She's the pretty girl. She gets all the A's or gets all the top marks or whatever it was. I don't think we got A's. Primary school, I can't remember. But anyway, she was top of the class for everything. And so I started to tell myself a story that I'm second best because, you know, in the bloody like star charts that you had at school, if you remember them, it was always her name, then my name. In the grading, it was always her name and then my name. So I told myself this story that I'm not good enough based on where she was. And comparison is the thief of joy. It is completely the thief of joy. I've only learnt this though from doing loads of therapy. I would never have known that as a little girl. But that's where my story comes from. And I have to say to myself, okay, so I told that story when I was 7 and 8 years old, and I've kept that story running, and I've kept finding evidence that I'm not good enough from lots of different areas in my life. But is it the truth? Is it actually the truth that I'm not good enough? No. It's just a story. It's just a story that I keep retelling in my head. So if you want to get curious about where your story comes from, of I'm not good enough, then please do. But do it in a way where you are curious and do not beat yourself up. You've got to do it from a place of compassion. The fact of the matter is, stories and thoughts in our head are not facts. And we can change the story at any time, as I've already said. So I heard this amazing saying, like maybe last week or something. I can't even remember who said it, but the saying is, mood follows action. Now, here's the thing about telling yourself the story of I'm not good enough. When you tell yourself the story, I'm not good enough, that creates a mood. And the mood is feeling shit about yourself, let's be honest. It's feeling low. It's feeling unmotivated. It's feeling not good enough, isn't it? It says it in the story itself. I'm not good enough. But what we want to do is we want to create the mood of feeling empowered about our acting career, of feeling good about ourselves, of feeling happy that this is what we have chosen to pursue in our life. So first things first, let's make a long ass list of all the reasons we love acting. Let's go right back to basics. What is it that you love about acting? Write it down, write it in a journal, or write it in the notes in your phone. It doesn't matter where you write it, as long as you write it and you keep it. Okay, so I'm going to go first. These are all the things that I love about acting, and you may relate to some or all of the things I say, or none of the things that I say, and that's absolutely okay. You'll have your own reasons. The things I love about acting are that I get to use my imagination, and I love being in my imagination. I am naturally creative, and I love being creative. I love telling stories. I love connecting with other people. I love being able to get into my feelings and just expressing them and really feeling them like super viscerally in my body. I love learning about other people. I love knowing what it's like to be in other people's shoes. I love entertaining. I love meeting people that I wouldn't ordinarily meet in any other 9-to-5 job. I love that I can meet lots of different people from different walks of life with acting. I love being in front of a camera because I love the stories that I'm telling passing through that camera to the audience. I love being on stage because there's something so fucking dangerous about it. Things can go wrong, and I love that. I love that danger. I love that we're always treading on the edge of that on stage, and that it's my responsibility to sort it out in the character if something does go wrong. I love being in auditions because I get to learn about myself as an actor. I get to learn what works and what didn't. What I also love about acting and being an acting coach is passing on skills to others. I just love acting. And there's probably a million other reasons that I love acting that I can't even think of right now. But, oh my God, I just love it. I absolutely love it. So why do you love acting? Pause this right now and write your list out. Okay, when you have written that long list out, or it might not even be long, there might just be one reason on it, and that's good enough. When you've written your list out, read back through it, read it out loud, and then check in with your body. How do you feel now? Okay. The second thing I want you to do is crush that little gremlin in your head. When it says you are not good enough, remember what I said earlier in the podcast. Thoughts are not facts. They are not facts. It is just a thought. It's just a story. So you can change the story any bloody time you want. Take back your power from that thought. So what we're going to do to take back our power from that thought is we are going to make a long list of all the compliments you have received, either about your acting ability or about you actually being courageous enough to pursue an acting career. Now, if you're relatively new to acting and you don't have much to go off, that's okay. These compliments might come from your family members or your friends. They are absolutely valid. They might even come from yourself. In fact, you can even take a compliment from me right now. Your first compliment is, you are brave and courageous for pursuing an acting career. And shall I tell you why? Because it's not a typical 9-to-5 job. There's a lot of graft in it. And there's a lot of people who settle for less and settle for ordinary and settle for the mortgage and settle for the car and settle for all these materialistic things that can come to them easy because they're in a salaried job, or maybe not even a salaried job, like a per hour job. But you are brave and courageous because you are following the thing that you love, even if you're only entertaining the idea of it right now. Now, if you've been acting for a while, you've done a few maybe student films, short films, independent films, maybe you've had a couple of day player roles on TV, or maybe you've got as far as auditioning for TV and not got a role on TV, but you've got good feedback from the casting directors. Write all that down. Write the compliments you've got from directors, casting directors, acting coaches, whoever. So I'm going to go first with this just to encourage you to get this down, because I think sometimes we get this idea in our head that it's arrogant, and it's absolutely not. It's absolutely not arrogant to refer back to the compliments you've received for your acting or for following an acting career. Compliments I've received, for example, the last stage play that I did at Hope Mill Theatre was from the director, Zoe, and she said something along, I can't remember off the top of my head fully what it is, but something along the lines of, Louise is a very hardworking actress. She always makes clear, concise, informed character choices, which she's then free to explore in the rehearsals. It was something along those lines, but that made me feel amazed. And I was like, oh, wow, somebody's actually acknowledged my work ethic and what I do and my talent. Another compliment I got last year from the director of a film that I did was that my acting, the relationship that I had with my on-screen partner was so believable and so watchable, and the director loved it. I got a compliment from one of my acting students a while ago. I can't remember when this was, but he said, like, when I've seen you acting, I was just like, oh, wow, I really want to act with you because you can act. So yeah, get started, even if it's just one thing you've got on your list. That's the start of a list, isn't it? And then once you've written everything down, read back through it out loud. And when you've got to the end of the list, check in with your body. How do you feel? And I want to let you know that I keep a little book of compliments, and so do many of my acting students who train with me either in one-on-one sessions or via the 10-week method acting modules. I encourage them to keep a little book of compliments as well that they receive about either their acting talent or, being brave and courageous enough to even have the balls to follow an acting career. And what we do is we read back through them when we're feeling down or when these thoughts are taking over, because you have to remember action creates mood, which creates momentum, and that is what we want. And when we're getting sucked into the story of maybe I'm just not good enough, we lack momentum because we get into the mood of like a meh mood where we don't really do anything. So what I want to ask you now is, we've absolutely changed the story in your head by writing those two lists. So what is one small thing you can do for your acting career right now? And it doesn't need to be a massive big thing. It doesn't need to be, I've got to write to 10,000 casting directors. That's very overwhelming. It just needs to be something really small that you can do to get that momentum building, because it's the small actions that compound into bigger things happening. And by doing small things regularly, you start to build the habits. And it's the habits that are important, because when these thoughts get back in your head of I'm not good enough, you can overcome them with habits, with good habits. So maybe you just need to pick up a monologue and have a little play around with it right now. Maybe you need to pick up a book on acting and you just need to read a chapter or even a page. Maybe you need to arrange a coffee date with an acting friend so you can go and just connect with someone who is in the industry. Maybe even just listening to this podcast episode has been enough for you. I don't know, but what's one small thing you can do for your acting career right now? And if you are feeling creatively stagnant, which these thoughts can really trigger this as well, I've got two offerings for you. One is paid and one is unpaid. And it's completely up to you whether you take them up or not. The first one is I do a play reading session every other Sunday. That's via Zoom. Don't get put off by Zoom, because we don't just sit there doing nothing. We actually get movement going. That's £10. So you could come and join that. The next one is this coming Sunday. I've popped the link in the description for that. The other offering I've got for you is my free method acting handbook that I wrote. So you could download that if you wanted and have a little look through it, because there's also a section on mindset in there as well. So the link for both of these is in the description. Take a little look, have a little read of them both, see which one resonates with you most, if you are called to do that. And the last thing to say is, I just really hope this podcast episode has, got you thinking outside the box. I hope it started helping you shift this energy in your head of I'm not good enough and help you change the story. So if it has, please do let me know, either by leaving a review, by sharing this among your acting networks, or leaving me a message in our DMs on Instagram, which is @Standby Method Acting Studio, or doing all three if you really want to. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. I have absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, aspiring actors. Now, if you did, I'd really love you to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave a review. And if you would like weekly injections of inspiration, you'd like mini method acting challenges to keep you making progress with your dreams, come and join the most supportive acting community online by clicking the link in the notes to help you become an unstoppable actor.